Good afternoon and welcome to the market wrap for Thursday, the 14th of May. Well, today it was hard to determine whether we're going up or down. We're flicking between both positive and negative territory, but trading within quite a tight range. But ultimately, we did manage to push higher, with the Aussie market just edging slightly higher by 0.1% to 8,640 points. But that was still enough to put an end to our nasty four-day losing streak, which saw our market fall by close to 3% over those prior four sessions. And with just 1 day left of trade, we're down more than 1%. So it could potentially be our fourth weekly loss over the past 5 weeks if we do end in negative territory tomorrow as well. But zooming out a little bit further, we are down less than 1% for the year. So there's still some time to make up for recent losses. Now, across the different sectors, it was quite messy and mixed. But looking at some of the biggest moves today, we did see financials bounce back after falling heavily yesterday. The sector was down around 4% yesterday, today back up by around 1%. And of course, yesterday it was heavily weighed by CBA. Today, 3 of the 4 major banks were higher, including CBA, which climbed by close to 2%. Miners barely budged. Tech was the worst performer of the day, down by over 2%, and consumer staples weren't too far behind with a drop of 1.9%. Looking at some winners, we've seen, of course, copper prices continuing to hit fresh record highs, and also resilient iron ore prices. So that's pushed BHP and Rio Tinto to fresh record highs for the past 3 sessions, of course, including today. Megaport did best, though, after it secured 3 major contracts through its Latitude business for computing, network and storage. This was across 2 customers, and the contracts are worth approximately $90.6 million. So its shares absolutely skyrocketing today. And market operator ASX Limited appointed a new managing director and CEO effective from the 1st of September this year. On the losers list, agribusiness GrainCorp posted a 92% drop in first half profit due to a challenging global grain market, and with an oversupply of grain and associated low pricing compressing its margins. So a 13.5% fall in GrainCorp shares today. Accounting software firm Xero posted solid earnings and flagged more growth ahead, but profits fell 27% as it continued spending heavily on US expansion, and also due to the associated costs of taking over New York-based accounting firm Melio Payments. So Xero down 9%. It was the 3rd worst performer. Supermarket giant Coles has been hit with a major court ruling, with the federal court finding it misled customers through its down discounts. Now, the ACCC showed that prices were briefly raised before being advertised as discounted, giving a false impression of savings. So no decision has been made yet on the penalties, but the potential fine could be in the tens of millions of dollars. So we'll watch and wait what happens there. But shares of rival Woolies were also under pressure today, as it also faces a similar case with the consumer watchdog. So it could be in the firing line next. And finally, Autobarn owner Bapcor slumped 18.5% after downgrading its guidance, saying that trading conditions have materially deteriorated since late March amid lower consumer sentiment and also higher fuel, freight and supplier costs due to the conflict in the Middle East. Now, the Aussie dollar has inched higher. It's currently buying 72.6 US cents. Looking ahead, the Trump-Xi summit is now underway in Beijing. We have trade, tariffs and the Iran war likely to dominate the conversation there. So investors are going to be watching that very closely, that meeting between the world's 2 largest economies. Also tonight, we have US retail sales being released along with weekly jobless claims, and then locally tomorrow, a quarterly update from Auckland Airport. So we'll wait and see what happens to round out the week. Have a nice night.